The fluorescent lights of Fort Bragg's headquarters buzzed like a swarm of angry hornets, casting harsh shadows across the polished linoleum. Sergeant Maya Reyes stood at parade rest, her camouflage uniform pressed to razor sharpness, the American flag on her shoulder catching the glare. The room smelled of burnt coffee and bureaucracy. Colonel Harlan, a man whose chest medals outweighed his empathy, leaned back in his chair, lips curled in disgust. "Reyes," he barked, "that uniform is a privilege, not a costume. Strip it off, now." The order landed like a slap. Maya's fingers froze on the top button. She had bled for that uniform Helmand Province, Kandahar, nights when the sky lit up orange and the screams never stopped. But the colonel's eyes weren't on her ribbons, they were locked on the sliver of ink peeking from her collar. A serpent, coiled, fangs bared. The mark of Los Zetas. The cartel everyone whispered about, but no one dared name. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a story that rips your heart out and hands it back stronger. Maya's chest rose and fell, slow, deliberate. She unbuttoned the blouse, each click of fabric against plastic echoing like a countdown. The room held its breath, 3 officers, 2 MPs, and a civilian lawyer who suddenly looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The blouse slipped from her shoulders, pooling at her boots. Underneath, a black sports bra, and there, sprawling across her back like a living shadow, was the tattoo. Not just any ink. A masterpiece. The serpent scales shimmered with microscopic detail, each one a face fallen brothers, sisters, civilians caught in crossfire. The tale ended in a date, July 14th, 2017, the day her convoy was ambushed outside Marja. The day she carried a dying child through a hail of bullets while the world filmed it on drones and did nothing. Colonel Harlan's face drained of color. He knew that date. Everyone did. It was the incident that birthed the infamous ghost convoy footage, grainy, viral, the one that made Congress scream for answers and the Pentagon bury the report. Maya turned slowly, letting them see. The serpent's eyes were hers, dark, unblinking, ancient with grief. "You want the uniform off?" she asked, voice low, steady. "Fine. But you don't get to erase what it cost." She stepped out of her trousers, standing in regulation underwear, every inch the warrior. The MPs shifted, unsure whether to arrest her or salute. The civilian lawyer fumbled for his phone, thumbs shaking. Flashback to Juarez, 2009. 16-year-old Maya, all elbows and fury, watched her father bleed out on their kitchen floor. Los Zetas had come for protection money. He refused. They left a message carved into his chest. The police looked the other way. That night, Maya stole her cousin's switchblade and swore she'd burn the cartel to ash. But revenge is a hungry god. By 18, she was running drugs across the border, the serpent tattooed on her hip as a blood oath. She was good, too good. The DE noticed. They offered a deal, disappear into the army, feed them intel, or rot in a black site. She chose the uniform. For 8 years, she walked the razor's edge, soldier by day, ghost by night, wiring coordinate. That took down safe houses while her squad thought she was just good at recon. Back in the headquarters, the air conditioner kicked on, cold air raising goosebumps across her inked skin. Colonel Harlan tried to speak, but his voice cracked like cheap plaster, because now the tattoo was moving. No, not moving, but the faces in the scales were shifting under the light. One of them was his son. Lieutenant Harlan Kia, same ambush, same date. Maya had carried him too, his blood soaking her vest while she screamed for a medevac that never came. The colonel stumbled back, chair scraping. You were there?" he whispered. Maya's laugh was bitter sharp. "I was the reason he died smiling, told him his dad was proud, lied through my teeth so he wouldn't go scared." The room spun. The civilian lawyer finally found his voice. "Colonel, this woman's file is classified above your pay grade. You just ordered a level black asset to strip." Harlan's medals suddenly felt like lead. Maya reached for her discarded blouse, sliding it on slow, deliberate. "You wanted to humiliate me," she said, buttoning up. "But you can't humiliate a ghost." She turned to the MPs. "Gentlemen, escort the colonel to his quarters. He's relieved of command, effective immediately." They hesitated, then moved not toward her but toward Harlan. His protests died in his throat as they cuffed him. The charge: conduct unbecoming, endangering national security, and attempted assault on a decorated operative. But the story doesn't end with handcuffs. Cut to 3 months later. A Senate hearing room, cameras flashing. Maya sits at the witness table, dress blues crisp, the serpent hidden but no longer a secret. The chairman, a hawk-faced Texan, leans into the mic. Sergeant Reyes, you infiltrated Los Zetas, coordinated strikes that dismantled 3 major cells, and saved countless American lives, all while wearing our uniform. Yet you were nearly court-martialed for a tattoo. Maya's gaze doesn't waver. Sir, the uniform doesn't make the soldier. The soldier makes the uniform. I bled for it. I killed for it. I carried my brother's home in pieces for it. If a little ink scares you more than the enemy, maybe you're in the wrong room. The hearing explodes. Hashtags trend. Hashtag Serpent Soldier. Hashtag Ghost Convoy. Veterans flood the streets in support. The president, yes, that one invites her to the White House. But Maya declined. Instead, she's in a dusty Texas border town, opening a community center for kids like she once was. The serpent tattoo? She's added to it. Now the tail wraps around her wrist, ending in an olive branch. The faces in the scales smile now. She teaches self-defense, mentors at-risk youth, tells them the uniform isn't the only way to serve. Some nights, she still wakes screaming, the smell of cordite in her nose. But the kids call her Tia Maya, and that's enough. The final scene. Sunset over the Rio Grande. Maya stands on the bridge, wind whipping her hair. She pulls out a small velvet box, opens it. Inside, a folded American flag and a single dog tag, Lieutenant Hollins. She kisses it, lets it drop into the water. The current carries it south, toward healing. Behind her, a little girl tugs her sleeve. Tia, will you teach me to be strong like you? Maya kneels, eye to eye. Strength isn't in the ink, Mija. It's in choosing who you become after the fire. The camera pulls back, the serpent on her back catching the dying light, no longer a mark of shame, but a map of survival. And that's the story of the soldier they tried to break, but who broke the system instead. If this moved you, drop a like. Share it with someone who needs to hear that redemption is real. Now, I want to know from which part of the country are you watching this video? Comment below. Let's put pins on the map and show the world we're all in this together. See you in the next one.